Travis here. Sorry, we were wrapping up an awesome session with Robin from Rock Hill Mechanical. We never want to cut the field use conversation short, so we let that one roll. And we're going to roll right into another field use conversation. So recently I got an iPhone 12 Pro, and within about 10 minutes of getting home with it, I had scanned my dog into an OBJ. And then the wheels, as the implementation manager for Revisto, started turning. I realized I could just directly import this into Revisto. And here you see this is the scan. This is an iPhone scan of my dog sleeping with a cone on his head. And to get this into the project, you don't need an authoring software because the iPhone actually automatically meshes what it makes. So you can actually just go up to Project Import, and then you see our list right here of different file formats that we work directly with.
Travis.
Yeah.
I have to ask, was Darth Vader also at your house?
I'm not sure. Somebody's been visiting my roof recently, but I think it's I think it's the squirrels. It's springtime. I think there's a squirrel family out there. But no, so you can see how easy it is to bring this point cloud in. And what Revisto 5 has actually brought here is the ability to bring this in, and then I can actually come in here and find it. And you can see we've got all kinds of fun stuff in this. This is the the innovation lab, in case nobody has seen this yet during MEP Force. This is our fun little space for any kind of innovation and fun. There, the Millennium Falcon kind of crash landed. There's some piping up in the sky. You know, it's just a great fun place. But anyway, what Revisto has added here is the ability to right click on any of these models, and I can transform this. So if this is that OBJ down there on the floor, you know, I can move this easily like 7 feet in the X direction by hitting that little button, and you see that moved over. So we can actually transform things into place. So if you're following me, we can scan directly with our iPhone, and then I can go into Revisto and I can import that OBJ, transform it to where I want, just like I did here. I put Doc watching the front door of the innovation lab because he's a guard dog. And then another thing that we've added here, so I'm using Revisto mode right now. The cool thing about this is that if you're more comfortable with other stuff, if you've been using Navis, Revit, if you're used to games, you can jump right in here and change your navigation mode. And then now, like I can have my little feet from Navisworks and be able to walk through this a little differently. And if I go into the lab here, now these aren't iPhone scans, but these are a bunch of different scans. You see how I'm getting a little lag here? So Revisto handles point clouds really well, but I actually have an entire city in this model. So Revisto also added the ability to turn on and off these models. So I can actually turn off like all the other models. And now we're just going to see scan data, and this is going to work a lot more smoothly. So see how
entire city, are we talking Cleveland or what? Erie?
I think it's Japan. I'm pretty sure I downloaded
the whole country.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's massive. But no, you can see here Revisto really handles these point clouds really well, and we can make this available to anybody. And then, like I said, we can change our navigation modes. We can turn on and off resources based on what kind of machine we're using. I've made business and party. So business mode only has certain models turned on. Party mode has them all turned on. But you can just switch it just like that. You're going to see the building come back on. And also when I'm in here working with these scans, something very important that Revisto allows us to do that, I mean, prior to this, the only good way I knew of doing this was with like Revit or Navisworks, but we can measure to these clouds too. So now I can click this. This looks like a little TIE fighter to me. I think it's awesome. But I could click my ruler button, and then I can click these different options up here, and I can actually snap to these different points. So see how it turns green when it snaps to a point? And if I go back over to Doc, let's see, we got it on business mode, so Doc's not on. So I can come over here and turn this back on just like that. You're going to see him pop back up right there. You're going to see I can also measure to that iPhone scan. So just like that, if I want to measure him from tip to tail, you know, right there is how big he is. He's a pretty big dog. But the cool thing about this is that now that I've got this information, and again, if you're following me, like I'm thinking field foreman scans in a big old piece of equipment that's sitting there on the floor, sends it to the VDC team. They upload it right to Revisto. Now we can pull dimensions on this. We can communicate around it. But the neat thing with Revisto is we have an issue tracker built on top of all of this. So I can actually click this create issue button, and I can directly communicate that information to whoever I need to. I can use this pin, and I can circle that and, you know, say, use this dimension, or, you know, the air handler in real life is this size, whatever. We're marrying that reality capture into a gaming environment, but also making actionable, like sticky notes in a way that can be assigned to whoever they need to go to. I can assign this over to Mark. And now it's in his court to do something with this. And he can come in here and report exactly what he does. You know, he can say, I'm on it. He can add a deadline. You know, if this is somebody else's thing, if we're waiting on an electrician, he can dodge it and send it over to the electrician. And then on the back end, Revisto can also report all of these issues on top of it. So something
else.
Into
that comment, but I guess I would add here while I'm booting up, to be honest. You know, we just got off a call with Rockwell Mechanical with Robin, and she was explaining how foreman, it's taken some time and some pain, but they've been using Revisto for 3 years now. So as adept as they are at using Revisto with their iPads in the field, and I could see them walking into an existing boiler room, scanning with the phone, and sending that back and creating an as-built for Robin and her VDC team to, you know, coordinate with engineers.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we've been seeing that happening a lot with construction. And the hardest part about this iPhone LIDAR thing, now this isn't a Revisto tip, this is an iPhone LIDAR tip. It's getting stuff to stand still. But that said, like Mark just said, a piece of equipment out on site is always still. You know, if this was, I could reality capture that picnic table, and the LIDAR on the iPhone, it just needs it to stay still. You just take it out and you start walking it around, and it'll start building the mesh for you right on the screen. So you can get that whole thing and then make it into an OBJ and bring it into Revisto. So that is definitely a good point, Mark, on how we can bring back as-builts. You know, we could, if they had to reroute an entire wall, or better yet, what would happen with us is the fab shop would accidentally like discover awesome new fabrication pieces we could make, you know, like this whole wall assembly. We could actually make this thing and deliver it on one truck and use it for every bathroom on every job we ever do, you know. Something like that we would discover on accident in the fab shop. Like they would just build it and be like, oh, this is sweet. Well, retroactively, we could have scanned it with the iPhone and we could have dropped that into whatever job to hold the space or something, you know. Make it an OBJ that literally is just, this is our fabrication piece. We have 20 of them on the shelf at all times to ship out to jobs, you know.
Travis, I just provided a photo in the chat for that issue you just sent me. I'll take a look at that real quick. Issue tracker, pop back over, not to totally derail you here. But just so we know that I can communicate in real time and add pictures.
Yeah, and you can add pictures. You could whip out your iPad and you can actually turn this photo thing on, and that activated my other camera there, but I could take a picture and mark that up and all that good stuff right here in the chat, all around what we really saw in real life, you know. And I want to point out as we close this up that this is crucial for learning. The big reason that this kind of stuff goes through my head is because as a VDC person, you're sitting behind a desk and you've never necessarily welded or put pipe together, or put a conduit bend in, you know. It's a really good way, whether it's pictures or this new LIDAR technology, or you know, the using a Faro or a Trimble X7, whatever it is, you bringing that knowledge back gives us as VDC people exponential ability to grow and learn like how and why what we're doing matters, you know. So always keep that in mind. Anything you can bring back to your VDC team is going to help you all around as a company. So that said, we're going to close this one up and we're going to jump into another model with some scans in it. And we're going to talk about piping and plumbing workflows. So feel free to jump onto our next one and I'll see you guys over there.